Hey guys, welcome back to my art channel. If you're new, hi, I'm May, and I make digital fluid art and digital pour art with cells. Digital fluid pours with cells. And today we're going to be looking at how to create expanded or expansion cells on IbisPaint. If you've never used this program before, IbisPaint is a great program that works both on Android and iOS, and it's a free program. The free version, you just have, I think, ads at the top, and you have to watch an ad to activate some of the brushes, or I think the program, if you purchase it, is around $10 to $15, and it gets rid of the ads, and you don't have to watch an ad to activate any of the brushes. But it's a fun program, and if you want to create some digital pour art, such as these, as some of the ones that I've made, which is pretty cool, then stick around, and we'll start with our expanded cells. They're pretty fun. So once you have your IbisPaint open, we're going to create a canvas. And we're going to start with a canvas size of 2400 by 1680 with a DPI of 600. Like so. And then we're going to shrink our canvas size down. And I think today we're going to play with a acrylic brush. Acrylic mix will be a good one to start with. And today I thought we'd do a color palette of a pastel rainbow. Rainbows are always fun. I did the full red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, and pink, and we're going to have a white background, which is pretty cool. So if you want to follow along exactly, feel free to screenshot the screen so you can copy these colors, or pick whatever colors you want, and we'll get started. So we're going to do a second layer, and I'm going to start with a white background, like so. Ooh. Sorry, my dog's trying to get comfy here. And then back to our brush, acrylic mix, and start laying down our colors. Because we need to create our digital fluid pour before we can create any of our cells. Now I've noticed with a lot of these brushes, sometimes they have a set point for how big they can go. And if you want to fix that, all you do is open up your brush and go to settings, and under maximum thickness, just drag it all the way across. And then you'll have absolutely no limitations on the size of your brush, which makes it a lot easier. Like so. And then we're going to start laying down our colors, like so. My program's a bit laggy. I don't know if IbisPaint, if you find your program's a bit laggy, sometimes you have to clear your cache, or you might need to uninstall it and reinstall the program, which I might have to do soon. Go. She's really liking on me today. Some of that indigo in there. And the purple. So you don't have to follow the rainbow exactly. You can kind of go crazy with it and have fun. Like so. And if you find you've lost any of your color, you just pick it back up and start bringing it through again, like so. Once you have something that you like, then we're going to turn it into our digital fluid pour. Starting off with our filters, because I like to start with wave, but like I said, you don't have to start with wave. You can kind of play around with all the filters and start your own styles and go crazy with it. Like I said, it's like digital finger painting. It's so relaxing and fun to play with. And like I said, you don't have to have a super creative mind. And if you've always wanted to try painting and you thought, I can't do it, or I'm not talented, or this or that, digital fluid pours, you don't have to have any talent. You can make it as easy, as simple, or as crazy as you want, or as difficult, and just kind of have fun. And I love it. Start with that ripple. And play with it. Like so. That's pretty cool. And go into our special pen and drag. And move that paint around a little bit more. Like so. Nice that we're not doing anything too crazy today. It's just to get an idea of the techniques and how these cells work, and that way you can kind of go off and practice and create your own digital fluid pours. So once you have something that you like, we're going to then go into filters off to the side here, FX, and we're going to be using the expansion tools. And you want to make sure this little dot here, and there's two of them. And oops, sorry, that's my water bottle. Make sure to stay hydrated. And you can do one dot or both, but for this cell technique, we're going to use both of them. Because when you overlap them is where they kind of create these bubble patterns, which are pretty cool. So you're going to want your expansion up to max, and playing with the radius, as you can see, is what's going to create the bubble patterns. Like I said, you can also play with it further if you didn't like how your digital pour and you want to try something tricky. You can play with these in tons of different ways, which is pretty cool. I love playing with this filter. You get some large pulls, or it looks like it's melting. But the idea of this is when you shrink down the radius, it expands the area, and where you have more layers of paint is where it's going to create those expanded bubbles. And which are pretty cool, and you can overlap them. So it looks like there's a big bubble growing inside a bunch of little bubbles, and you can overlap them like so. And you can have the little flyaway ones, because the more you shrink down the radius, you make it smaller. And then if you don't want a ton of that pull, you can shrink down your expansion a little bit, like so. And then you can get those tiny little flyaway bubbles, which are so fun. Another little bubble. And another little bubble. And another little bubble. It can get a little tedious because, like I said, you have to go back and forth, but the finished product is pretty cool. Like I said, you can do some really big guys too. Just move them around the whole screen, like so. You get some pretty interesting patterns. And shrink it down a bit, or you can bring it up and shrink it down. Nice thing with this is you have 100% control, so which is kind of awesome. And if you don't like how it turned out, you can just hit the back button and keep going. Yes, there's a great way to unwind, I find. And then you don't have to do the same size. You can shrink your radius and do tiny bubbles inside your bigger bubbles. Like so. And that's how you make expanded bubbles with the expansion filter. And now, if you find that you don't like how they look very uniform, you can go into your special pen again, and with the drag feature, you can kind of pull them into different wonky little shapes. And just like so. So that way they're not so uniform. Like so. Or if you find you want them to have more of a ripple effect, you can go back into your filters and drag it across and go back to ripple. You can drop your distortion down to 1 and then play with the wingdings in your radius and bring it down a little bit. And you'll see here. And give more of that rippled effect. Like so. You can play with the distortion, have it really pull. Or like I said, and just play around with it till you have something that you like. Like so. You do the radiate or the outside first and then bring it back in. And shrink it down. So it looks like it's rippling all the way out. It's also kind of cool. And then you can also put it over top of ones that you've already done. Like so. And yeah. And that's how you create expansion or expanded cells on IbisPaint. And don't forget to tag me in any of your art you guys create. I love seeing everybody's creations, and definitely follow me on Instagram so you can tag me. I really love seeing everybody's work. And yeah, and that's, like I said, how you make expanded bubble cells. And check out my other tutorials if you want to play around and get an idea of how to do different types of cells. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!